Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action. Hey, what's up everybody? It's Dan from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel, and I am joined by Scott and Rob to go through the Hell in a Cell recap and review.
I thought it was
How you boys
lane.
doing?
I'm in a car.
No, I think you're a bit you're a little bit far gone for that one, mate.
I need to find a cell quick.
Depends what you're doing in that car, mate. You might end up in one.
True.
So
I could easily be putting one past, couldn't I, if I make the wrong decisions or the right decisions?
yeah, start driving it and get pulled over.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, look, we are here to talk all things Hell in a Cell. You may notice that Lucas is not there, but he will be chipping in apparently with a few comments. So obviously scheduling issues. But anyway, should we get into talking a little bit about Hell in a Cell?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say this now, but yeah, kickoff show. Normally it's we normally go through what you're cooking about this time, Scott. But we obviously saw you were probably trying to find your way back from a beach. Obviously didn't get washed up, so that's good. Yeah,
but it was an interesting thing to do the build-up show from a beach. I feel like, we've done pirate stuff. Yeah. So I like the build-up show. It's getting wild.
Yeah. Scott and Mania running wild.
Maybe one bash at the beach. That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Fast lane.
Next time.
I'm getting them all mixed up.
But yeah, so the kickoff show did feature one match, and that was Natalya facing Mandy Rose. Natalya defeated Mandy Rose in a little under 10 minutes with a sharpshooter. They'd obviously teased something was going to happen with Natty, Tamina, Mandy, and Dana on Raw, but it seemed more like it was going to be a tag match of some kind. But I wasn't expecting this to be just thrown on last minute. But yeah, I mean, did you guys see any of this, or any thoughts on the kickoff show at all?
Usually, I pride myself in watching it, at least background watching it while I cook. But like I said, I was making my way back from the beach.
I was snoozing, man. I watched it. I watched my. Sorry. Obviously, work commitments. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. Obviously, now I'm doing morning shifts. I'm up at 5. So
all right.
in my younger days, I would have watched the pay-per-view and gone to work. But not anymore, man. I need my sleep.
Nowadays, it's like a nap beforehand, isn't it? And then you try.
Yeah, and then a full sleep after.
Yeah.
Dan, did you watch it?
Didn't even know there was a match on the kickoff show. So no, don't bother watching a kickoff show. So sorry to the talent that's on the kickoff show, but yeah, didn't watch the kickoff show. But I mean, we will kick off this with the main show, and we kick off actually with a Hell in a Cell match, and that was for the SmackDown Women's Championship between Bianca Belair and Bayley. Yeah, this was actually quietly a superb match. For me, I think I would go as far as saying this for me was my match of the night. Second longest match on the card. Obviously, the men's Hell in a Cell match was the longest match on the card. And yeah, what did you guys think of this one?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. It's interesting the past few years. I think they've done a real good job of differentiating the Hell in a Cell matches. And this one was obviously the hardcore one, So that was it was really good. I was really impressed with how both of them did. Obviously Bayley's been in one before, or maybe more than one now, actually quite a few, right? But
I think this is a second.
Yeah, the one with Sasha. That's the only one I can think of anyway.
Yeah.
But Bianca obviously is her first one. I think she did a great job. They worked very well together. And yeah, like Dan said, up there with match of the night for me.
Yeah, I'm the same. There was some of the spots were great. I have one. For me, this was match of the night, but I've got one criticism, right?
Okay.
And I'm
How
not a
late it was
wrestler.
announced as a cell match?
No, no,
Mm.
no. It's you know what? It was one thing. Or for all the way through the match, certain body parts were being worked. Right now, as wrestling fans, we always know if someone's if someone's a lifter, either do arms or not. Majority of the time, you do legs, so they haven't got the legs to use. Right.
Mm.
All this throughout the match, Bailey kind of done a lot of the dominating in what was happening. And then when Bianca finally made her comeback on the knee shot from the chair, she done a knee shot on the chair, then done like a chop block to her, then worked on her arms. And I'm thinking, hang on, she's just like got an injury somewhere, or it could potentially be an injury. Work on that part, and instead she stood her up and threw her out the ring. And I just thought, surely isn't it wrestling 101? Like work on the body part that you've literally just injured. That was my only criticism. Other than that, I've really enjoyed it.
I mean, it does say a lot though when you have to like really go through a match to try and pick something that's obviously like a negative in a match. You know, I thought they worked so well together as well. And you got to think how much of this was already kind of planned out for not being in the cell, because it'd be interesting to actually to know.
I forgot about how last minute it was. Like, it's a good point that like they would have completely had a different match.
Like, you got to think, like, I guess in like the stuff with the hair, like tying the hair around the ropes and stuff, that probably would have been in the match normally. But I just, it'd be interesting to know kind of how last minute this was. Like, was it a case of, okay, we're always gonna like think that this could potentially be in the cell, so maybe they said to him, right, plan it for and plan it not for, sort of thing, like not for a cell and for a cell, basically. And but I think they did really well, and the finish, like the KOD onto the open ladder, that looked brutal. But I loved as well how neither of them were holding back on anything. They just gave absolutely everything, battered each other. And obviously, as we said, like Bianca obviously winning the match with the KOD onto the ladder for points all round except Rob. So your first one that you're not getting this season.
I actually said in the message, and I said last night on it, look, I am happy if Bianca Belair wins. Obviously, I'm happy if Bailey wins. So, like, you know, I can't complain. The match, the thing is as well, the match was so good. Like, as you just said, it's match of the night for me. It was so good. And as you said, if I'm having to pick like the smallest thing out of the entire like 20-odd minute match, then that says a lot. You know,
there was so much creativity as well. Like we've said on previous, you know, the hair thing can get a bit much. Like we've seen a lot of it now. And they did do a bit of that, but they still, like Dan said, like the open ladder spot, like finishing it on an open ladder, like even that's something we don't usually see, you know. So a lot of creativity, and like we were saying, obviously last minute. Well, you know, they probably got told probably before we found out, but sometimes it isn't. It is just as it goes on TV, they find out as well. But I'm sure they had a few days' notice, but still, what they did was very impressive.
Yeah, and they do seem like they work really well together. And I think what was nice as well, like looking through the card, was all of the matches were given time, but not too much time. So it wasn't like there wasn't anything that was like sort of a draggy like 45-minute match. Like the shortest one on the whole card was Alexa and Shayna, went 7 minutes. All the rest of them were, you know, solidly between like 10 and 5, like 10 and like I think the next one, Cesaro and Seth went 16 and a half. So other than that, everything was like pretty spot on.
Very well paced, I felt.
Yeah, definitely. And then obviously getting into that match, Cesaro versus Seth Rollins, that was the next match, the first of the WrestleMania rematches on this show. Did seem, I think you did mention it, Scott. I think that obviously they could have done these at WrestleMania. Was it you that mentioned it? WrestleMania Backlash?
Yeah. I think and about the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn one, like again, they paused both of them and just went. And it's even weirder because Hell in a Cell's come forward. So even the phrase of, you know, a WrestleMania rematch at Hell in a Cell, it just sounds wild anyway. But it was a good match though.
Yeah, and it's and this was like one that we were all kind of split on as well. Like me and Rob both said that we thought Cesaro was going to win. Scott and Lucas both said that they thought that that Seth Rollins was going to win. So let's quickly, was just going to quickly throw over. Lucas has given us a comment here. Pacing the show is always very good now. I'm finding just very repetitive card-wise, annoyingly. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting, I guess, to see when fans come back, if they're going to keep this, like, the 3-hour pay-per-views up, because, you know, they could overdo things and be like, oh, yeah, fans are back. Let's give them, like, a 4-hour show and each match go, like, 20, 25 minutes, and then you get, like, bored of them. And, you know, I say this was really, really well-paced. And, you know, Cesaro and Seth out of the singles matches went the longest, which was 16 minutes 15. So, yeah, it was a decent enough match. Like, Cesaro looked in control for some of it, and then obviously Seth getting the pinfall. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all my notes on this one. Yeah, did what it needed to do, really. Unless you guys have got anything to add.
I mean, I'm annoyed that it finished in a small package.
A lot of shocking, sneaky pins on this show.
Oh, was that a double? Go on, Scott, go on. Is he froze? I don't know if he's in.
I was just saying there's a lot of shocking, sneaky pins on this one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Lucas is saying Scott is frozen.
I think
as well.
I'm on delay.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think you can hear me right now, but yeah, a lot of sneaky, shocking pins on this one.
It's like talking to a grandma, isn't it?
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, but the only thing I'm irritated about was the small package finish. I guess Cesaro was showing so much dominance throughout the match, you know, and they really built him up to look a lot stronger. So I guess the only way to really get like a shocking pinfall was like a cheeky roll up, and then I think what really made the match finish, the finish of the match, a bit more better, like a lot stronger, was the look on Seth Rollins' face afterwards. Like he knew, do you know what I mean? Like his face told him another
basically,
story. Yeah. And I really enjoyed that. I said the match was great. If we didn't say that the Bayley Bianca match was match of the night, then I would say either this one or the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn one. They were so.
Like, they definitely did stack this with some really good matches, and Lucas agrees as well. Excellent match. And an early prediction, think Seth's winning Money in the Bank. So it'd be interesting, though, when we do the Money in the Bank predictions. Now, I'm going to hold you to that one, Lucas. If you don't say Seth's winning, then I'll deduct you a point anyway.
Good. So, minus points there.
Yeah, minus points for the early Seth Rollins prediction not coming true. But yeah, hopefully, if he does win it, then hopefully we get as big a moment when he cashes in as we did last time, because that is probably, for me, still the greatest Money in the Bank cash-in that they've ever done. So, yeah. So then I guess we get into a match that none of us really knew too much about what was going on, and that was the Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Basler match. Yeah, I mean, I really didn't know what to expect from this match, but the fact that Alexa won it with just a plain like wrestling move, like the Twisted Bliss, just, yeah, kind of didn't really do much for me, really. Because, I mean, there was obviously all the other stuff that she was doing when she was like doing the staring at Nia and Reginald, and yeah, I just really am struggling to get what they're actually trying to do with this Alexa character. It's like, is she a wrestler? Is she this like possessed like little girl? It's like, what on earth are they doing? But yeah, I mean, it was okay. As I say, Bliss won it with a wrestling move, and they played into the double jointedness quite well as well. With the Kirifuda when Shayna's going for like the clutch and stuff. But yeah, what did you guys think?
Is he still on delay?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Still?
You're kind of.
I'll try and leave and come back.
There we go.
All right.
We'll keep that on for now. Frozen Scott. All right, so we'll go with me and Rob for now.
Yeah, no worries.
All right,
see you
in a minute.
I'll tell you what I really like is the fact that so many people are split on literally on this match, because obviously Twitter just explodes when the wrestlers do something that shouldn't happen in wrestling, as we spoke about the eye thing with Rey Mysterio, the swamp match. So, I mean, Scott weren't happy with the octopus scenario in the dumpster, but this one, it was so basic. People are getting irritated that Alexa Bliss won with a wrestling move in a wrestling match. Like, I just don't understand. Wrestling fans are wacky, mate. I mean,
the thing is, like, as I say, I like the fact, obviously, that she won it with the Twisted Bliss, but then it's a case of what were people expecting her to do? Were they expecting her just to go like, and then like, it just randomly will ping, like, go into Shayna's face?
I don't know. I mean, you're good now, Scott. I was just saying how, I was just saying
how much you enjoyed seeing Bob Lashley beat Drew McIntyre. So that's
I missed that much,
I was saying how fans are divided on the fact that Alexa won by using a wrestling move in a wrestling match, and the internet's exploding about it. I don't understand it. To be honest, for the 6-7 minutes that this match went on, I enjoyed it because I felt like more story was told to do with Alexa's character all of a sudden now being able to control Nia. So does that mean it was so weird, and people were complaining about it. I was like, but hang on, Bray's been able to mind control. When Matt Hardy was broken, he was mind controlled. Undertaker's done it. Kane's done it. Papa Shango.
I think people got to think about what do they want. You know what I mean? Like,
I
think you're right. There's a lot of hypocrisy. My problem with it is I don't know if they know where they're going with it. And I don't know if they're showing us where they're going with it. And that's what's a worry. You think, this could lead to maybe this is for a reason. So, yeah, it's always weird and risky when you have these non-reality based things. But, I think because we know it seems like they don't know where they're going with it. That's what makes it more hard to just enjoy, I think, for people. But what they produced was good. Like I said, it weren't long. And I think a good balance, it sounds weird to say, of the creepy stuff and the wrestling. I thought it was well done. It wasn't neither side was overdone.
Yeah.
And I think as well, they need to decide, they need to decide exactly like what they're going to do when crowds come back, because obviously you can't go too much into like the spooky side of it kind of thing. Like when they were doing the stuff with Lily, like you can't be doing that stuff when crowds are back, because how is that going to be, received by fans? How are they going to manage to do that kind of stuff? I mean, unless you're doing it on screens, but that's obviously not going to look very well to a live audience.
The horror action.
Yeah, and she plays the character really, really well as well. Like we saw it like WrestleMania when she did the whole thing with the veil and
sorry guys, but the horror action.
Yeah, that was the last bit we got, and then it's like where you were sitting dead still. It's like, is he frozen or is he just sitting still? So yeah, just quickly, just apologies if there is some freezing on Scott's part. Obviously, as you can see, he's not actually sitting in like a house or anything. So obviously, it's the connection is as good as it can be. So
Dan, you literally said exactly what I was about to say. I think we've been so used. I think what else as well is we've been so used to seeing all these cinematic effects and all these wacky, crazy things. Now all of a sudden we're getting ready to go back to having fans again, like in the arena. This is how the character will then be portrayed. Do you know what I mean? Because before, like when a light guard would go out, whoever it is would get out from underneath the ring and go, and then go in the middle and do their stunt or whatever. But now, because we had no fans, they could literally just cut it. You know what I mean? So they had more time to play around and stuff for timings and whatnot. But because we're going back to fans, this is the sort of stuff we're going to get. And to be honest, I've so much more preferred this You know, it was little things, you know, the hand movement, the screaming. But to me, that was more, how was she doing it? Reminded me of Xavier Woods when he stared at Bray Wyatt. Every time he looks at him, the guy just froze. And I love that moment with Alexa and Nia. There's something there, and I want to know what's next.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see, like, when the Fiend comes back, just exactly like what role they're going to give him in all of this now, because obviously the Lily character, I don't know how they're going to transition that in front of a live audience. Like, yeah, it's a doll, but what are they actually wanting to have? I mean, I suppose they can do backstage stuff with Lily, but then I don't really feel as though you can do much live with it, like, unless they get like an actual person to play a character of Lily. But you know, other than that, there's not really, I don't think, anywhere you can go with it. But as I say, I think the Alexa character is brilliant. I'd actually like to see her win Money in the Bank. That would be quite, quite good to do that, actually.
Yeah.
Bliss as a, because then obviously it could be that freaky thing, and they could get like maybe a little lunchbox type thing and give that to Lily.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Like gimmick what they've already gimmicked. You know, like I said, with Otis,
exactly.
Handbox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's quite a good idea.
It is. I mean, it's one of those. It is quite like, it's quite strange the way that obviously that character is portrayed, but yeah, live fans obviously will be back for the next pay-per-view, which is Money in the Bank. Obviously, we will be live doing our predictions for that. Probably be mid-July at some point, but but yeah. So should we get on? Maybe start on the next match while we're waiting for Scott.
Yeah, go for it.
So next match was Kevin Owens taking on Sami Zayn. So yeah, what did you think of this one?
I think, to be honest, it was no difference to a Zayn Owens match or a generic Owens Steen. You know, it's exactly what it needed to be. I like the fact that you know, that Zayn got the win. Something was, obviously there's now a story being built from that. But I don't, nothing really I can't find a negative in it, because anytime they're together in a ring against each other, teaming with each other, you know, it's great. They've got so much chemistry that I think you could literally just say, right, you've got 10 minutes, call it on the fly in a ring, and then still put on a superb match. You know, so I've got nothing to moan about. I really enjoyed the match.
I managed to find one criticism with the match. It wasn't inside the cell.
Yeah.
That for
Can you
me,
imagine that in the cell?
that for me is the only criticism of this match, and that was that it wasn't inside Hell in a Cell. I think that the fact of obviously the history between the two men, you literally put them inside the cell, let them bat. What I would have liked to have seen is them two go into Hell in a Cell, just batter the heck out of each other, and essentially like beat that like respect into each other, and then like they get this respect together and be like, you know what, we are a stronger unit together as friends, as a team, than we are fighting each other. It's like, why don't we just, you know, you've got this conspiracy thing, let's put that to bed once and for all. Let's, you know, go after, whether it be the Mysterios, whether it be the Usos, you know, whoever it is, and just let them do whatever they do. So just a quick one as well. We've got just an update from Scott. He's having a few technical issues, so it's going to be just me and Rob now for the remainder of this. So
no worries.
Yeah, we will get some comments coming from Scott, but yeah, for now it's you and me, mate.
That's cool, mate.
They've got the B team in. Sorry, guys, you're stuck with us two. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. It would have been great in the Hell in a Cell, you know. But again, even though it wasn't, the fact that we got a great match from them, as I said, they deliver. You can take them apart, keep them apart for months, put them back together, deliver. You know, I can't moan about them because they're so good together. And you're right. I mean, as apart or as a team, they're great. I mean, I would like to see them, if they're going to become a team, I would like to see them, but just go, it doesn't matter where they are in the company. So they go to titles, go to SmackDown, go back to NXT, you know, just challenge, because they are a great tag team and they want to prove it.
And the thing is, I think they're the kind of guys where you can even have them like over the course of a few months, be like, okay, so this month we're gonna team together for a few months. Then they can go into like maybe have the odd like blow off match here and there. Like, you know what? Yeah, we're having a few differences. So they're like, okay, fine. Like Extreme Rules. Okay, go in and just like beat each other up for 10, 15 minutes. Oh,
hello. I'm all right.
For now, yeah.
Okay. If I get really bad, just kick me out and I'll send some comments.
Cool. Yeah, so we're just in the middle of, we're talking, I don't know how much of it you managed to see, but we're talking Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and essentially how we would have liked, the only criticism me and Rob could find of this match was that it wasn't inside Hell in a Cell. We would have loved to have seen them, you know, maybe just go Hell in a Cell, go hell for leather, beat each other up, and then essentially go on and maybe become a team and, you know, that kind of stuff.
Is he still there?
Oh,
is
I
there?
think. Oh, it's yeah. I think you're gone again there, mate. I think it's
Okay, I think I'm cutting out a lot still.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we're gonna have to bid you farewell here, mate. I think that's it. Yeah. See you later.
See ya.
Rumble spot has gone, mate.
Yeah, and he goes over the top rope and both feet hit the floor. So yeah. So anyway, yeah. So Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. So we forgot to mention obviously the Bliss and Basler match. All of us chose Alexa Bliss to win. This match, all of us chose Sami Zayn to win, except for Lucas, who went with Kevin Owens. So. Yeah, so then we get on to a match where we were all kind of split as well, and that was Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. So, strangely, you and me went the same here. You and me both went for Ripley, and Scott and Lucas went for Charlotte. Now, for me, these are always the tough ones, the championship ones, because technically Charlotte won the match, but then Rhea Ripley leaves as champion. So I guess we need to word things differently. So it's like, okay, so I'm going to go with Rhea Ripley to leave as champion. So I think we need to, I guess, specify that. But was I the only one that thought this was the most ridiculous disqualification ever, when it's something that we see week in and week out for like pretty much every episode of Raw? SmackDown.
I don't think you're right. It was ridiculous. I'll be honest, I don't want to be that guy that moans about a lot of the matches and stuff. But this was the most boring match. Yeah. But this match bored. I struggled getting through this match, like watching it. In my opinion, it wasn't needed. Is that a cry face or is he cold?
Frozen.
Oh, okay.
I think we're gonna have to let it go. He's at one with the wind and snow. So sorry.
But yeah, the match was all right, but I just didn't really enjoy it, to be honest. It was ridiculous from start to finish. You know, it's all about Flair, isn't it? It's unfortunately that's what we get, and I don't think she was that good in this. Honestly, in this match, I don't think she looked that great.
Yeah, the thing is, I think the weird thing is, like, in every other match on this card, you can pretty much go, right, okay, this person's the face, this person's the heel. I don't think WWE know what they want Rhea Ripley to be. Mm-hmm. It's like, do you want it to be a heel? Do you want it to be a face? Whatever you want to make her, make your mind up, go with it. Whatever you want Charlotte Flair to be, make your mind up, go with it.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, I think Charlotte is much better as a heel because she can play that entitled character so well, and she can back it up in the ring.
Yeah.
I don't like Charlotte as a baby face, although don't get me wrong, I love her in-ring work, but I just think, as a baby face, I don't think she works. And the fact of obviously I was listening to another like wrestling podcast earlier today, and they were saying about they've basically got full control at the moment over the crowd reactions, and they didn't put any cheer or any boo for either of their entrances. So it's like it is essentially like, oh, like which one of these buttons do I pick? Do I pick the cheer button? Do I pick the boo button? Or actually, I don't know. Let's just not pick one of them. But I mean, I can't actually read my notes for this, like for the finish of this match out, because there are too many explicit words in it. So so I mean, I just feel as though, if you're gonna get disqualified for literally pulling the top of the announce table up and it cracking someone on the head, then why are you not disqualifying someone anytime they throw someone into a ring post, or every time they
steps,
or into the steps, or whenever they pull the thing off and they put them through the announce table? Surely that's a disqualification because you're using a weapon at ringside.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're going to start disqualifying people for that, then no matches are ever going to end in clean finishes, ever.
Yeah, do you know what it reminded me of? You know when you played like the old WWE games and there was a bug in the system, so then you pick the announce table off and it hit someone, or you just drop the hammer when it was a DQ was still on, and then because it hit the wrestler, it became a DQ. It just seemed like that. It was like a really bad video game glitch, and it just ruined the. I mean, the match wasn't the best as it was. Charlotte, and did she miss a kick, or was she mocking Rhea Ripley? I didn't get that either.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of negatives. I've got more negatives about this match than I have positives. I mean, the positive was we didn't have to watch it for that long. But yeah, I wasn't impressed.
And then we've got Scott, like the dynamic of Charlotte being impressed about what she saw as Rhea learning dirty tricks. Rhea saying that she knew Charlotte would have done the same, but the confusing heel face thing is too much. Yes, pretty much exactly. Yeah, like as we was like echoes what we're saying pretty much. And it is, I guess, just really frustrating the fact that they don't know, because, it would be nice if they kind of, or even if they had a thing of Charlotte, like Rhea gets the win, but she uses dirty tactics to get the win, and then that kind of earns Charlotte's respect a little bit. Something like that could even work. But it's to just have the match just end in such like to me a ridiculous way. It's like do a DQ by all means, but have her like crack her over the head with a belt or something.
Yeah, exactly. Just do something where it comes across more as a DQ, because, as I said, it wasn't like it. I don't buy it. It just seemed like they kind of booked themselves into a corner, and it was like, okay, this is the way out. And
I think the thing as well is you look at our predictions. 2 of us said Rhea Ripley, 2 of us said Charlotte Flair. It's like WWE looked at that and we're like, well, we can't even decide who's going to win the match.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
I mean, I was honestly surprised that if they're going to do a finish like that, just go to a no contest or something. Just do it where they both get counted out or both get disqualified, or Nikki Cross comes out or something. Just do something where, you're not going to have like a finisher.
Yeah. Exactly.
Whichever way you're going, just that was probably the worst one that they could have picked. But I mean, we could sit here for bloody ages just going on about how ridiculous it is and say the same thing over and over again, but it wouldn't make good viewing for anybody.
No.
But something that did make quite good viewing, though, was the main event of the evening, and that was Bobby Lashley defending the championship against Drew McIntyre, with the caveat that if Drew McIntyre lost, he would not be able to challenge Bobby Lashley again for the championship. Now, this match. What a brutal match. The show obviously bookended by the Hell in a Cell matches, the longest match on the card. What did you think of it?
So I don't like matches when they go too long. For example, Randy Orton and Edge at the that way early on in the start of the pandemic era.
The 45-minute, wasn't it?
Yeah. I didn't enjoy that at all. But this match, even though it was long, it felt so short. It was it was so much going on. It was so hard hitting and impactful that you kind of watch one thing happen, something else was happening. It was gripping. I couldn't stop watching it. I had to. Well, I mean, I watched it this today, and when I watched it, I was like, "Oh, I need to go back and watch a couple of bits and stuff." And I was still kind of like flabbergasted at that the brutalness of, some of the hard hitting moves and that. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I liked the whole dynamic with like the MVP thing, and the way that they finished it was pretty like quite a smart way, because you feel like it kind of gives them a little bit of an out with Drew, because then Drew can be like, well, actually, I wasn't beaten clean. And then they could go back on the fact of, well, it was Drew that wanted them to open the door to let the other referee in. And, then I think, but the only thing that I couldn't comprehend was the fact that they let MVP snuck in. Why would they then lock the door behind MVP? Like, why would you literally not just, like, instead of have, like, the door locked behind him, why would you literally not just say to him, right, okay, get out, sort of thing? Like, you're in, get back out of the cell, sort of thing. One thing, though, I did notice was not a botch as such, but I did notice when Bobby threw Drew out of the ring through the table, if you notice, they showed it at, like, apron level when he went through the table. Did you notice the hand come from underneath the ring to pull something back?
No.
Yeah, it was like whether it was like a crash match. Like, you know what? I don't mind them doing that kind of stuff if it's going to be like for the safety of the wrestlers. Obviously, I know that AEW got a lot of stick for the big bump that Jericho took, and obviously I'm not a cynic that I want to see people get hurt, but at least wait till the camera's not on you to do that kind of stuff. And but yeah, I think it did what it needed to do. These two just went out and battered each other, and I think a lot of people are now saying, where does Drew McIntyre go from here? Well, much like Lucas predicted that he reckons Seth may go on to win Money in the Bank. For me, I'm thinking a smart way to get around this whole Bobby Lashley thing would be for Drew to win it, because Drew being, if they want Drew as a top babyface in the company, then they could build him up to face Roman. There's that option. They could build him up to face Bobby Lashley again, obviously, because my thinking behind this is, okay, Drew can't challenge him like for the title. That's fair enough. That's been said. But there's nothing saying that if he wins Money in the Bank, he can't say come out after a match and just beat Lashley up and take the title.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I mean,
because there's no like restrictions around the Money in the Bank. So, like much like Royal Rumble, you win the Royal Rumble, there's nothing there. So, we got Lucas back in the comments as well now. Drew needs a good 3 to 6 months away from the belt scene, though it's beyond stale now. And the good thing is like the Money in the Bank thing could well work, because he can win the briefcase. Doesn't mean to say he's got to cash that in straight away, because then it's going to be always in the back of your head. He can go off into other feuds, but then that's always going to be in the back of their minds. It's like, could he? When's he going to do it? He can cash this in at any moment. And then obviously you're thinking, when them crowds are there, that pop, for them seeing like an in-person cash in for Money in the Bank, because like how long has it been since we saw an actual like cash in person? It's been it's been incredible. And I know Scott was live when Dolph Ziggler cashed in. He was actually in the building that night, and he said to me many times like how incredible like the noise was that night. And watching that back on TV has been gives you goosebumps watching that, like the crowd reaction to it when he did the Del Rio thing.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you what as well. We were saying, as fans were coming up to like for the Mania pay-per-view, that recent Mania just gone, that about if Drew wins and stuff like that, that he finally gets his moment with fans. But at the same point, as you were saying, it was the Money in the Bank. And yes, he's been very close to the main event scene now for like over a year. So some time away is great. But if he did win Money in the Bank, as you said, he can kind of float around in the mid card for a bit. Obviously, with that briefcase or whatever it is, maybe a kilt, with the Money in the Bank on it or something.
Money in the Bank sword or something.
Yeah. Something. But yeah, it'd be really nice for all of a sudden for him to cash in, because he'd actually get an organic pop, because it's a surprise anyway. It's always a surprise. So he'd get the organic pop from that. And the fact that he'll be like him cashing in, as long as they keep him babyface, I think fans would literally erupt. So booking that way, he kind of gets that moment that he missed the very first time he become a champ.
Yeah.
So it kind of bookends that story for him,
And I guess, they even have the option, if they did do did have him win it, then they can always lead it possibly into like Lesnar challenging him, and then you're kind of getting that match that you had at the WrestleMania, but the different dynamic of it. But obviously Drew then going in as champion potentially. But then I guess you don't know what they're going to do with Lesnar. There is obviously talks that WWE have started talks with him now as well for a return, but guess that just depends how many zeros are on the end of that check. So
exactly.
Yeah. So we've got Scott's thoughts on this as well. As frustrating as Drew being in the title picture still has been, he's performed very well, and he and Lashley have great chemistry. Can't say I didn't enjoy the match. I really did. It's an odd one. Yeah, and strangely as well, so Scott was actually the only one who picked Drew to win this match. All of us went for Bobby Lashley. It's, much like you were saying with the Bayley and Bianca thing, Rob. For me, it was I was happy either way, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't think I would enjoy Lashley as champion as much as I have done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kudos to Bobby Lashley, because he has won me over. I loved the stuff they were doing with the Hurt Business, and then when he became champion, I was like, oh, Bobby Lashley's champion, whoop-de-doo. And then as the months have gone on with him being the champion, I've just been like, you know what? This is really like believable as a champion. And, it makes you want to see a lot more. And, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Bobby Lashley go on a bit of a Roman Reigns like tear and, hold the belt for a significant while. And then, again, I think we're in a really good position at the moment where you look at both of the top titles and you're like, who on earth is going to win? Who's going to beat Bobby? Who's going to beat Roman? Who are going to be the next champions? And, I remember a thing that Sean Ross Sapp was saying. He was saying it's like that person doesn't exist yet, because they just haven't built anybody up enough to be worthy of those positions. And I think I think it's going to be, now this is out the way, they really need to be sitting down and thinking, right, we need to stack this Money in the Bank card as much as we can, because whoever wins that, it's like, are they going to have it as they're going to have one eye on Bobby, one eye on Roman? Is it going to be a case of they're going to just be one of these that's going to lose it straight away?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you literally said, put a gun to my head and said to me, right, okay, pick the 6 or 8 guys that's going to be in Money in the Bank, I'd have no idea who they're going to put. I mean, what I'd like to see is them literally put in as bigger names as they can in it to make it feel so, so special.
I think they need to this year, purely because we had the pandemic one last year. That was a bit of fun. Otis winning, I know Scott was a big fan of that happening. But yeah, you're right though. It's like they haven't got someone ready yet. And what I like is, this is where we need Lucas, because he's great with stats. But when was the last time we had someone make one main event title credible and then the other one credible at the same time? Like, how long ago was that? Because we've always had the WWE one mean something and then a world heavyweight mean nothing. or vice.
I would probably. I mean, I can remember back in like 07 when you had like Taker had the world heavyweight and Cena had the WWE title. But then I think that was back in a time when everyone would see Raw as the top show, SmackDown as the secondary show. Whereas now I think SmackDown seems like it's edging it for me, as like obviously having to watch and review the bloody things every week. I think SmackDown for me is at the moment the better show, and that is because of the stuff that Roman is doing, you know, and the stuff on Raw. Like, I've been critical of them trying to like not knowing what to do with 3 hours of Raw, but I find myself being hooked on the Bobby Lashley stuff, and I feel as though the best thing they've done with him is keeping MVP with him, because MVP as that mouthpiece is great, and it does say quite a lot when you've got two champions that are so dominant.
Yeah,
you know, and as I say, like I'm not disappointed that Drew's not champion at the moment. I'm obviously I'm happy because obviously it gives me another point as well. So
yeah,
but yeah,
exactly. I don't, I'm really enjoying. I'm enjoying for once the main event scene. I really love tag wrestling. I loved like watching the 205 live when it was actually a good thing when they done it. Now it's on NXT. It's not so bad. It's a bit hit and miss every now and then, but it was there was points where I was like, oh, okay, I really liked when the Miz was the IC champ, and he really made something of it, and he made it mean something. It's like he put prestige back in the championship, and I think this is the first time in a long time that I'm really interested about who's dethroning both of these champions. I just can't think who.
And it's nice as well going into a pay-per-view and like having obviously the two big title matches and being like, right, I wonder which one's actually going to main event this show. Because there's arguments for both of them to main event the show as well, which is, really, really good. And I think as well, they could have the same kind of dynamic with the women's titles as well. But it's like if they put as much kind of effort into that as they are at the moment, their two the two men's titles, then I don't think people would be as down on the product as they are. But
yeah, I see something. I don't know if it's a direct quote. I see it on Twitter and then Roman's name around it with a graphic. But it was something to do with Roman said he either goes very right at the start of the show or he main events it, or something along their lines. That's that's his position.
It was much like at the WrestleMania. So when I was at 35 and they had they had Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins coming out first for I'm not sure, was it? Oh, it was the Universal title at the time, yeah. And it was like, well, if we're not main eventing, then we're going on first and getting on out of here, sort of thing. So easy night work, and obviously that was when we got the Beast Slayer, Seth Rollins. The pop for Seth that night was incredible. Like, just Imagine. Quickly, going back on that, and one of the Roman Reigns' first big WrestleMania back that was as well, facing Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley defending IC title then against Finn Balor. So that was interesting night as well. So yeah, I mean, I think we've pretty much covered Hell in a Cell. And the only thing that we have got to I've got to announce obviously is the scores at the moment. So it is very, very close. Lucas is currently bringing up the rear with 8 points after 2 pay-per-views. He actually had quite a good one this time. Lucas and Scott both got 5 right on this one. Then joint second actually is Rob and Scott. You are both on 9. And obviously just call me Ty Dillinger, mate. Perfect 10.
Perfect 10.
10 points for myself. Obviously Cesaro letting me down. Rhea Ripley letting me down. Otherwise I would have had another clean sweep. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess, for this. We will be, obviously I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. with the Raw the Raw review, the latest SmackDown. That's it. I couldn't even think of my own show name then, but for now that is everything, guys. Unless you got anything else you want to add, Rob, then we will skedaddle on out of here.
Let's get out.
Let's go. Take care, everybody. We will see you for Money in the Bank, which will be next month. So take care. See you later.
Bye.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.